Good morning, fantasy football fans, or afternoon, lunchtime, whatever it is that you're here. We appreciate you joining us today on Getting Defensive. Roxanne, I'll let you take over.
Hello, how's everybody on this Friday?
Good.
Good.
Hopefully everybody out there is doing well.
Hopefully. We are joined this morning by Craig from Roto Heat. Always good to have him on. And Johnny the Greek, who is a great IDP mind. And we always have Gary the IDP tipster on Twitter. I am Queen Roxanne, and I hope everybody has a good weekend this weekend. Let's talk some football.
Oh, yeah.
Is everything going okay? Because I seem like I'm like a second behind or something.
No,
seems fine.
Yeah, it seems fine over here.
Okay.
The voices, I see your video jerking around a little bit, but
it is? God dang it. That's why I reset the internet. Oh,
well,
whatever. So, first
of
all, we have
technology, folks.
Love them. And they're always fine every other day of the week except Tuesday and Friday.
That's how it goes.
Anyways, all right. Well, we have a couple things we want to discuss before we start talking about the fake draft we're going to pretend to do with some players. I don't want to say a mock draft. It's not a mock draft. It's more you're on the clock and who you're going to take. And if they're not there, what are you going to do? So first, we want to talk about the signing of Devontae Campbell to the Packers. Gary, you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess I could. I mean, I don't have to. I mean, I'm kind of, we got Barnes sitting there, the second-year dude that basically when Kirksey went down, he was the best one to show. I believe that's why they let Kirksey leave. Campbell's been on the market for quite some time. He didn't have a really good year last year after getting out of Atlanta the previous year in a system that worked in his favor. The reason we're basically bringing this up is, there's going to be some questions. There is one prime spot historically for the last few years in Green Bay that they have one linebacker that usually produces at a high level as long as that guy's on the field every down and healthy and everything else. And there's not a lot of depth there at Green Bay. I think they got a couple of second-year guys. I can't think of any other names on there other than the ones I'm imagining in my head, and the main one's Barnes. I think Campbell coming in, it's assumed by some that he'll be a day one starter. I can see this, but I don't know if it's going to be that key middle inside linebacker making the calls. I still think that is probably Barnes's job to lose. You guys got any opinions on that?
I think he's someone. I mean, I think they can use him sort of all over the field, and I think he's sort of best served as sort of like utility backup, because we've seen him be able to be outside and sort of be a backup on either side, whether it's going to be to Zadarius Smith or Gary if he takes over Preston there. I think he's probably not going to start, like you said, because they have a whole bunch of different guys that they gave some chances to with Barnes, Martin, Summers. They have Burks that they drafted relatively high. I think it was like a third rounder a few years ago. So I think they have a lot to sort out. And if I were them, because he can do so many different things, fine enough if you need him to start for a little bit, but I don't really think they're going to want him starting. I see him better as, again, utility depth piece.
All right. John?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are freaking out that have been drafting Chris Barnes, assuming he's going to have that Martinez, Christian Kirksey role. But yeah, I don't know. It feels nothing. It feels like insurance. Chris Barnes is the future there, most likely. This guy is just either, something like a transition piece or a Band-Aid or depth. Campbell's not getting any younger. we know his ceiling, so I wouldn't worry about it. I still drafted Chris Barnes even after this happened, just in case he does, because if he does land that role and plays like that Blake Martinez role, that's awesome production right there. So and it's a linebacker. If it doesn't work out, you'll be fine. Wait a couple of weeks, you'll find someone.
John, you're cutting in a little bit for me. Yeah. Is it just me? Okay.
No, it's on mine too.
Okay. This almost sounds like a little bit on your more of your mic. Just
you want me to kill camera?
What?
You want me to kill camera? Do you want me to kill the camera? That might help.
I don't know. No, it's your call. Yeah. You there?
Yeah. Is this any better?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. But I got to agree with you. You both of you guys. It just feels more like a veteran depth signing at this point. Just to get somebody in there behind all these young guys or with these young guys, and teach them how to play NFL. But so I don't think we have anything major there. John, it's just creepy. You're a big bullseye. Yeah. So let's here. I got a Justin Barnes layover if you want, where he was with us in a. I'm kidding, man. Yeah. I'm not going to do that to you.
Like what?
Right. So the one other thing that I wanted to bring up was you folks who might follow me on Twitter is that I just discovered, I'm not sure how in the world I've been overlooking this, but it's called @U with a regular U Stadium Fantasy. They are a app, and don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not a pro at this, so I can barely handle my own Twitter. But I tell you what, the familiarity of the usage is kind of there. I've actually been keeping an eye on it a lot. The one thing that really stands out about this stadium to me is the fact that the notifications and the news that comes with it, or the content that comes with the NFL teams individually or as a group, is really good, and it's on time. If something breaks, I actually watched it waiting for news to break. If it breaks, it's instantly on there, and it was exponential. My wife makes fun of that word because I make things up. But either way, I'm going to suggest that everybody go check out on Twitter @U Stadium Fantasy. They're affiliated with @U Stadium, and definitely give this a try, because if you're like me, when you're sitting there, especially in season, I'm sitting here on my computer and I'm doing a lot of my stuff on both these computers, but I have to have something on my phone that is a relevant source for news. That's where I'll get my news. So this app, like I said, I really like it so far, and I'm planning on probably making that my go-to source. Again, it's kind of sort of like Twitter. I hope they don't mind me saying that. But at the same time, you don't have to worry about followers. If you post the content, everybody that's a part of that app will see it. It's not just who's following. So they have a point system and some other things. I haven't even had a chance to check it out. I'm going to encourage you guys, if you're listening, go check it out. It's a pretty cool resource, if nothing else, just for up-to-date team news, So
and you're the IDP to do on there also?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
No, nobody had stolen that handle yet. So like, who'd want it, right? Okay. So,
it's a good
John,
one.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I just heard him laugh.
All right.
Yep. Hey, Gary, is this like the spider site you use? You remember that?
Right.
Yeah. No. This is.
How do you explain this?
What's that?
How do you explain this? It's just like Reddit maybe, or an open forum, or
I hate Reddit. So it's not like Reddit to the point. It's not like Reddit to the point. It's got a familiarity of Twitter. because you can post and create your own content. And then depending, at the very beginning, there's like this process that you have to pick what you want to follow. They do other sports besides NFL and fantasy football. So, there's like these couple of things that you'll just go through at the beginning. And once you follow what you're interested in, that's the feed that you'll get. And then, of course, then you have your own profile. And so far, again, folks, I've done just like 6 posts on this thing so far. When you post it, it shows up under the not necessarily. I think it's a mixture of with the NFL and the fantasy football stuff, but I do know for a fact it's coming under the fantasy football tag, which you'll see. It's a really easy thing. Throw some check marks on things, and you're on your way. Make a little profile, and again, it feels like Twitter. You can communicate, you can comment on things if you see a post. It's really cool. I wish I had more details. What I wanted to mention mainly about it is it's right now it's up on my list, and I'm thinking about definitely using this thing for up to date end season stuff. John, for what you was talking about, Spider News, it's a great in-depth place. I love it, and I still use that. I use that like a Bible. I've learned to use it really well. But the one thing that is always about trying to get some in-season updates is the clutter. You've got so many resources coming on that thing. I mean, when you're in season, you sit there and start looking at like their text or their articles or their updates. And by the time you got one little blurb read, it's telling you got 15 more to refresh.
Right. So
for that purposes, I don't use that to get, on the spot updates if I need it. So anyways, this was meant
for losing viewers. Let's talk about some. You're on the clocks. Did you say we're doing Edge today?
We can do whatever we want, John.
I just thought I saw it in the chat. So you go.
Try your picture, man. You're freaking me out.
I mean,
try and come back, John.
Because
your microphone sounds fine now.
Okay.
There, yeah. There's that beautiful big ugly mug. All right. Glad you joined us today, Craig.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Sounds like we're having some fun.
Glad you're here too. Yeah. Oh, by the way, folks, Justin Barnes, he is last minute. He had to bail out on us. He's got some things he's going to be out of town or such, and
it happens.
Right, it happens. And Craig was gracious enough at the last minute yesterday to accept the invite. So let's get rolling. Do you want to start it off? You start it off however you want, Roxanne.
Let's go with. Let me pull up something real quick.
We're trying this thing, folks, called the On the IDP Clock. Basically, when that's what we're doing right now is drafting. There's no news really coming out. So we're just giving out a bunch of scenarios. Hopefully this rolls over in the waiver wires eventually and trades and such. But right now we're just basically acting like we've got choices to make and giving the reasons why or why not.
Already? You know?
It's just random players.
Right.
Just here.
Well, you start. Go first, and then let me get some up.
All right, Craig, John, Roxanne, we're going to start this off. We've got 3 inside linebackers that we got to start. All right, 3 of them. So it's a 16-team league. Let's make it a little bit deeper. Ooh. All right. Yeah. So we're coming up, and you missed the run on the top. This is a balanced format. You're wanting linebacker, and you missed the run on the upper echelon, I guess you could say. And here are your choices. You have Fred Warner, Trayman Edmonds, and Deion Jones. This is going to be your number 1 linebacker off the board to anchor your lineup, your starting lineup. Craig, who you got?
Boy.
Fred Warner, Edmonds, Jones.
Yeah. I think that I am going to go with Deion Jones. It's a couple factors here. I do like Warner, and he was a guy that I found for free in a lot of places when he first sort of broke onto the scene. But I like Greenlaw there too, and I have some questions about how that defense is going to look with Sala gone now. Deion Jones, he's shown that he got back from injury. He was nice and productive last year, and I still think that offense, there's a lot of questions around what it's going to look like with the new coach, as well as with Julio gone. I don't think they're going to be putting up the points. I don't think they're going to be on the field as much, and I think you're going to get more points out of that defense than you probably even did last year. So going forward and looking, he's still relatively young. Give me Deion Jones.
John?
Yeah, similar reasons. That'll probably be, after the Niners will be the worst offense there. It ain't going to be the Bills, that's for sure. So, you're talking most time on the field. Keanu Neal's gone, Casey's gone, competition for tackles is lessened. He looked great last year coming back from injury. I love Edmonds. Not too good, and I like Warner. I just feel like his price is too high most times, and there's a lot of hype, but not a lot of production. Like a lot of hype last year, he didn't do much. So I'll go with Deion Jones. Happy.
And I forgot to mention, this is definitely. I was looking at this as a redraft situation. So, I personally, I'm fading Edmonds. I just something about him. I mean, I can think that he's going to get his average of 116, but combined tackles. But I think that I'm going to swing for the fences a little bit more, and where Deion Jones is, for obvious reasons you guys just mentioned, that's probably who I'm going to go with too. It's kind of hard not to go Warner. So far, when it comes to the 49ers, each year we got this anticipation that they're going to be so good. And, they got Kettle and they're going to do this on offense. But every year something goes wrong, something that Kettle got hurt. Can't keep the quarterback on there, which I guess we have a quarterback issue now. And there's, we're thinking that Garoppolo might be on the hot seat or no. Am I correct?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Right. So, I mean, I almost would. I think I like the defensive line in front of Warner, and they're going to be a lot better with Bosa and such. So it was really splitting a hair there, but I'm going to go with Jones mainly, just for what you guys said and the fact there is not any talent on there except for Okaloon and for Grady Jarrett, which they showed last year. The teams are going to concentrate on Jarrett and keep him out of the backfield, and Okaloon is going to be just as good as probably as Deion Jones. So, but I definitely would take Jones. Anybody else?
No, because my computer's not working, so I'm just going to shut up for a minute so I can get this pulled up.
We're here for you, Roxanne. Ooh, I got 3 comments.
Yeah, check.
I can actually see them right now. And they're coming up on my screen, and I didn't do anything this time. We got Oklahoma IDP and Jordan, of course. Hello, Jordan.
Is that Oklahoma Doug?
I would imagine so, because it spells backwards.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
All right, and then Jordan, our DFS man.
I don't think he
Jordan's
sleeps.
great. No, he doesn't.
Is that Dougie?
What?
Hey,
Yeah.
Dougie.
Might be. I can't. I mean, Oklahoma
It's
IDP. So
he spells his Oklahoma in his name. So I
Oh,
assume
that's
got it.
That's got to be Dougie. Yeah.
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. All right, give us a hard one, guys. If you want to comment, it's John or Craig. Do you got 3 players? Any situation scenarios you would like to, bring up? If not, I can.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead. I'll look around for one.
Yeah,
ahead,
let's just do let's do the LB one because I still don't think we've done that. Devin White, Roquan, or Darius, and why?
You've been mentioned. And Justin did request that you go ahead and do that one, so I'll throw this one out. Okay, you're we'll stick with the 3 starters. You getting your first linebacker, you're ready to pick it, and you're the first one to go. So you're going to have Darius Leonard, Roquan Smith, or Devin White. Who do you take?
Okay, so for me, this is easy. It's Roquan Smith for a ton of reasons. He plays every snap. He's on a team that's going to be starting a rookie at quarterback. He plays half his games in a stadium where it's windy and snowy and cold. He can't throw the ball. In regards to Devin and Darius, who have been the overall IDP points leaders, 2 out of the last 3 years here, there's a lot of variance that comes with that, right? Like Devin White had 9 sacks last year. That's probably not going to happen again. And in regards to even things like repeating his combined tackle leaders, only 5 people have done that in the past 29 years. And, the last time it was back-to-back was 29 years ago, Jesse Tuggle on the Falcons. So it doesn't happen. There's a 20% chance that Devin White even has that kind of numbers again in his career, right?
Right.
That's the chances. And for it to be year back to back, year to year, there's no chance. That hasn't happened in 29 years. It just doesn't happen like that. So it won't be Devin White. Darius Leonard, it could be. He gets dinged up a lot, and there are games where he doesn't play every snap. Like it's an easy. If you're LB1 that you're going rounds plural ahead of time, the draft does not play every snap. That's crazy. Give me Roquan. He'll play every snap. He'll never leave the field, and his offense is going to be terrible this year. So give me Roquan.
Anything there, Craig? Who you got?
Yeah,
your prime pick there.
In redraft for this year, I'm taking Roquan Smith too, much for the reasons that Johnny had listed. Devin White, he still has Levante David there, and I know he isn't what he used to be, but he showed last year he's still highly productive, and they just have a great defense all around them. They're going to have guys on the edge. They're going to have guys in their secondary making plays, getting tackles. I agree that I don't see a repeat of that high-quality production out of Devin White, although he's still right up there. There's a reason we're still talking about him being ranked this high. And then for the other one, I like Darius Leonard, but I think that a lot of people are still just flying off of that high from that first year of him with that production. I still think he's a great linebacker, but, we saw last year, like to Johnny's point, whether it's a rotational thing or it's just because of injuries, they can't play Leonard like that, like they did that first year. He's just going to get beaten up. And they did improve their defensive line, but their defense as a whole is improved too. So I don't see him being quite as high as, even Devin White this year for scoring.
Yeah. Well, me and Justin covered this particular one last Friday night. So I'm just going to hopefully repeat exactly what I said before. And I believe Justin, man, I'm trying to remember. Justin, I apologize if you're checking this out. Can't remember if you agreed with me or if you went with Devin White possibly, but we'll get you back on here and we'll have you clarify that at some point. Either way, I'm going Leonard. I got him ranked my number 1. I got Smith 2. I got Devin White 3. Devin White, actually, the only reason I got him at 3 is I'm giving him the benefit of doubt in his top 3. John, I think me and you were talking about it the other day, and you've seen people just like swinging for the home run and really reaching for Devin White.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that go ahead.
No, I've seen, okay, so in all my startups that I play with people that know what they're doing, we're grabbing Chase Young, Myles Garrett first, right. Because linebackers are a dime a dozen. And I got people taking Devin White in that same area.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You hanging out with us for a while now, Roxanne?
I don't know. I can hear construction going on outside. I don't know what the hell's going on. I was listening to Craig, and then all of a sudden, I'm gone. Yeah. I'm not even touching anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm irritated by it.
That shit happens.
I heard something about Chase Young, though, and I got bitched at for taking him a little early in one of my leagues.
Why?
I'm talking
Depends
about.
on the format. It'd have to be a tackle-heavy format to be bitched at about that.
Yeah.
So if you don't care, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish. Okay, so I'm taking Darius Leonard. I love he offers the most veteran situation. He has been doing it. If you look at him compared to, say, Devin White, which was the leader in a lot of leagues in overall linebacker production, if you look on their weekly, Devin White or Darius Leonard actually missed a couple of weeks, but per week, he was still producing more than Devin White. So if he hadn't missed those couple of weeks, he'd still be the guy that we knew, and he wouldn't have really slid down. He might have actually, led the league again. That's just my opinion. But I love Roquan Smith, yeah, and I like him more than Devin White. But Devin White's center playing by David Levant. You've got a decent situation. A lot of his points came from, extra playmaking, not so much combined tackles.
Right.
So I definitely want more of what I can depend on, and I think I can get more combined tackles out of Leonard. And then when it comes to Roquan Smith, my worries about him is has he played an entire season yet?
I think he has last year.
Did he? I thought he missed a few games last year.
Was it last year or the year before where he supposedly wrecked a sports car in Chicago and had to sweep it under the rug?
I do remember that now.
Yeah.
He played 16 last year.
Did he? Did he play in 16?
Played 16 games, yeah.
And he did his rookie year too. He just didn't start. He started 14 out of 16 he played in.
Right.
Yeah, I thought he had missed some. Well, that's why he's number 2. I'm still sticking with Leonard. I love his ceiling each week. I know you got DeForest Buckner, you got Okari, you've got the defense. I think is funneled for Leonard. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stick with the veteran that has a little bit more to show. But I don't think you can necessarily go wrong between Leonard or Smith. But I think that you're taking a big risk if you're reaching for White at this point. We need to see it again. We need to see a couple things change, I think, before we can go there.
Yeah, so, if you're reaching for linebacker, you're doing it wrong in the first place, right? Because I will make sure that my positions of scarcity, defensive tackle, defensive end, I'm strong there, and then I'll get who I need for those few weeks, and I'll grab Tyrell Adams. Then I'll grab I'll be a couple combined tackles off from what you drafted, rounds plural ahead. And while you were wasting all that draft capital, I was getting extra running backs. I was getting extra good wide receivers. I was bolstering my defensive line. You can always get linebackers. You can't get those other positions. Going way ahead of time to get Devin White is just bonkers. It's a rookie move. That's what it is.
Yeah. And I personally, John, when we first met, I was still stuck on needing my linebackers. I wanted my linebackers first. I was stuck on it, but I was so used to the whole balanced format scoring system was just really coming in. I had been doing it, I guess, on my own personal level, in my own leagues, but an overall. So everybody is caught up to this. So I have totally swung the other way, and I look at it the way that you do. And if I'm sitting there and I can get a DeForest Buckner, and he's sitting there side by side with Bobby Wagner, I'm going to go ahead, and as long as it's a balanced or sack heavy format, I'm going Buckner. It just because like with us, and I'm probably with you too, Craig, your linebackers, you can kind of submit or supplement those a little bit later on. What would be your approach in that, Craig? And you don't have to agree. We're allowed to get defensive here.
Yeah, I told everybody on Twitter we're going to be getting defensive, so we should try it.
Yeah.
So
I kind of did with Leonard.
And it's probably by and large the leagues that I'm in. I'm not in any leagues that I pay for where it's just a bunch of people that really know their IDP. So I feel that I can sit back and wait for, the top guys, generally in most of the positions to go. And I know that second, third, fourth level better. So I can wait to get that value at the offensive positions like Johnny was talking about. So I do that too. I don't be the guy to start a defensive run on any position. I'm probably not, in the top half of the run. Unless it's a huge league. If you're talking 16 to 20 team league or something like that, that would change it. But in a 10 to 12 team league, I'm going to sit back and wait for that value for that guy that I feel better about, that other people are sleeping on or don't know as much about.
Right.
Good
Smart.
Stuff. Good stuff. All right. Anybody got a question?
That's why we win championships. Keep rolling.
All right, so I'm going to try to throw something in. This is a little bit different of a question that we've seen. John's played all this week. Let's see what Monday night, Tuesday morning. Here you sit today, and I got you again next Wednesday. So hey, folks, watch for us next Wednesday night because I got a special one, or we have a special one coming up with John and Sam Lane or Stumpy that we were going to try to do this past Monday night, but we're going to move out to next Wednesday night because Sam had to work late. So check that out. It's going to be another good one. And we're going to start making these things harder as we go and we get used to this kind of little game we got going on here. So that's what I'm going to attempt now. Craig, I'm going to ask you first. Yeah, you get to swing for this one. All right. So it's a balanced format. You only start two. You only start two of your each position, DB, DL, edge rusher, however you want to look at this. All right. So you're sitting here and you're taking your first one. You're looking at, let's see, Jalen Smith, Joe Scobert. Hold it, wait for it. I got to scroll down, folks. Jadarius Smith, Joey Bosa. So we're looking more like edge rushers. And I won't go in defensive tackle, interior defensive line. And we're looking at Justin Simmons, Antonio Winfield Jr. So Winfield Jr., Simmons. Yeah, you got prime meat on here. Which position and why are you going to take first, and which player is it you're going to take?
Gotcha.
Oh, boy. All right. So I'm not going to go linebacker here. Because, again, I think even at this point, you could probably find depth elsewhere later on. If I had to pick one of the two for what it's worth, despite being a Cowboys fan, I would take Schobert. I'm just not confident about Jalen Smith with those other guys that they drafted here. And
I'm still on that bandwagon
in the field lately. So
I've been on that bandwagon for the last 2 to 3 years, and every year we hear this. Well, I'm not so sure. We got Van Der Esch, and Smith's going to lose, and Van Der Esch is back next last. And every damn year for the last 2 years, Jalen Smith has freaking led the Cowboys in combined tackles. Yep. All right, so I'm riding that train over Scobert again this year. So either way, there's getting defensive for you. Leave Smith out of it.
Well, this is the year that I think it changes personally. I was fine with him up until how stuff went last year, and it just hopefully he recovers with the nagging injuries and his foot continues to get better. But
for me, anyway. It's that rookie thing. We've talked about it in the past. What's the chances this rookie's going to come on and record 100 Parsons or whatever, come on here and be the next Darius Leonard rookie season, 155 combined tackles? Not happening. Odds are against it. You got Van Der Esch still sitting there in the way. Smith. I think Jerry Jones guy Smith. As long as Jerry Jones loves that dude, and it's going to be his personal little guy. That's how it's going to flow. So, but I apologize. I'm getting off topic. Probably by now we forgot what it is. So, okay. So you're not taking linebacker.
No. And then you said Za'Darius, and was it Joey Bosa?
Yep.
Joey.
Boy.
So basically there are two edge rushers, folks. We've got 1-4-3 defensive end in Bosa, and then we have an edge rusher in the 3-4 as an outside linebacker with Smith. Which one are you taking? If you're taking one of those.
And you said there were two safeties, right?
Yep, the two safeties was Winfield and Simmons.
I think I'm probably going to go with Simmons here. I'm for what it's worth, I live up in Wisconsin. And despite of not being a Packer fan, Good
for you.
I hear a lot of chatter. I don't think Rodgers is coming back. That's just the vibe that I'm getting. I think he's the sort of guy that is going to rather sit out and do something else than play for the Packers if he really feels this way about that front office, which I think he does. So that changes the whole nature of that offense, and then that's that defense for me, where, I don't know that they're going to be rushing the passer as much. I think they're going to be down rather than up, which I think is going to have issues for Zadarius Smith to repeat what he'd done the past 2 years with double-digit sacks, double-digit tackles for a loss. He's been great, but with questions about that situation, I'm staying away from him. And Bosa, I sort of got to see if I'm taking someone this high, I need to see that he's healthy again. I mean, the guy just can't stay healthy. So give me Justin Simmons. I mean, the guy's been a great guy to have. If you're starting two back there, safeties and your cornerbacks combined, he's getting, 70-ish solos a year, almost double-digit tackles from that position. I like the consistency, someone that I can count on week in and week out. And I was really high on Winfield as a rookie last year. And I think he did well for a rookie. But again, like we talked about with their defense before, that's just a stacked defense. And I don't think if you're doing redraft, you're going to get that top level of production out of him yet.
No, I agree. John?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, so I personally would probably go Bosa just because I can find a safety, I can find a linebacker, but your typical IDP player that is not writing 17,000 word articles every week would probably go Simmons because he hasn't missed a snap in 3 years. He's a top level safety every single year. He's incredible. Winfield's not there yet. He will be, and there isn't a lot of competition for tackles like Craig, and I'm with him on that. Zadarius' situation will be like you said, completely different if Rodgers isn't there. I got to take the upside on Bosa though. If he's healthy, he's a top 3 defensive end. If he's healthy, that's the problem, right? I just know. Personally, I'll find this year's Donovan Wilson. I'll find this year's Cameron Curl. Like I'll know about them before a lot of other people because I have to, or I'm going to look like an idiot writing these articles.
Right.
And I'm not taking linebacker because I can find a linebacker. But yeah, that's
I love
what I got.
You brought up Donovan Wilson, John. Same boat last year. Telling people don't forget this dude's name. Don't forget this dude's name. Next thing you know, he's coming on and he's leading some week. Just killing the production. Now, I don't think that we're going to be able to see that type of production
this
out
year,
of that way. But I mean, it's sure. And now we've got Neal sitting there, playing this so-called weak inside linebacker. So that was a good one there, and that's a perfect example, folks. There's always going to be, especially safeties, in my opinion, somebody breaking out each year. Right. We've been doing this for a long time, and your biggest breakouts are usually your DBs. It's harder for a defensive lineman to get it done. And at the same time, if it's a linebacker, you already know his name. So we're talking deep breakouts. What really boils down to me, I mean, Simmons, I'm going to fade the other way. The reason I'm not going to go any of these two safeties is because I can get those safeties down there. I can get something else. And when it comes to the defensive linemen or the edge rushers, and it comes to Bosa, we already know, he's got health issues at times. And at the same time, he just doesn't seem like that same guy we seen 2 to 3 years ago. I don't. It's like he's almost, I don't want to say lost a step, but he is not the guy that he is flashed. Like he was. He hadn't produced like he flashed early on. So I got my concerns there. Smith, well, probably I think Smith doesn't get the respect last year that he should have coming into the fantasy football season. I like Smith, but for obvious reasons. I'm going Jalen Smith, folks. I'm not running from it. If this is a balanced format, neither one of the defensive linemen are enough for me to overlook Smith or Skolbert, tell you the truth. And when it comes to the defensive backs, I can get those later too. So it's more of a, player in the position for me. If we were looking at Chase Young or Buckner, Aaron Donald in this edge rusher or defensive line area, that'd be a no-brainer for me. But when it comes to these two guys, you got the questions. And the odds are that if I don't take Darius Smith now or Joe Bosa, they're going to be sitting there maybe the next time we come around on the clock, especially Smith, because I don't think that the love's out there for Smith. And, yeah, he's going to be hurting a little bit this year if they don't have Rodgers. Totally agree with that. But if he can still get me 10 sacks, give me him a couple rounds later, then, I'll still be satisfied with that. So either way, or even close to double-digit sacks.
Right.
And we know that when it comes to the Packers, somebody's got to produce on there. Somebody's got to tell me who else is going to produce. We don't know about Barnes. We don't know about Campbell. We talked about, right? You talk about the Savage and Amos. I mean, who's going to? Might as well be Darius Smith. I mean, he does have a decent combined tackle floor, if I remember right, for an outside linebacker. Don't quote me on that, folks. Sometimes I get rattling on and forget. All right, so
not you.
No, yeah, no shit. So it's about 10 or 11 till. You guys got time for another one or two?
Can I just ask real quick, if we're going to wrap this up, I want to get your guys' opinion on what is going to happen with Kenneth Murray this year, because he had so much talk at the beginning of last year. He got benched. I think he came back. I'm not 100% sure on that. What do you guys think is going to happen with him this year?
I think he's fighting for his job to prove it. I think he's got to prove himself big time.
Did he come back after he got benched last year?
Yeah, but they basically didn't have anybody else to do. It is your first round. They probably benched his butt during the game just to show him, make a point. Sit down, sit down. You get out of their faces. So he's going to get a shot probably again this year. What do you guys think? Yeah,
it was a communication issue, which is coach speak for he was supposed to be running the defense and he couldn't hack it. Couldn't do it well. So it depends, what he did this offseason. Was he out partying or was he studying the defense and getting better? We'll find out week 1.
I'm personally not drafting him. Are you guys?
There's no
redraft or dynasty, to tell you the truth. I want to see some more. I'm hoping Tranquil can come on and play more than one series in this year's season. He went down early last year. I was a big fan of his, telling people he's going to be a deep sleeper. Won the position, got out there, and second series, he broke his ankle.
Yep.
Against the Bengals in week 1. So
what do you think, Craig, about Kenneth Murray?
I want to know what their new defensive coordinator is going to be doing and how he's going to look at this, because the Chargers linebackers have just been a mess to figure out for, it seems like, the past 5 years, with them throwing different guys and rotating guys. They're not being really one set guy for, it seems like more than a few games. Murray has the talent, with where he was taken. I wasn't as high on him as a lot of my friends were, and people, I was higher on Queen and Simmons, and, Simmons didn't do a whole lot either. He did less than Murray, but I think we also have to remember that, these guys were thrown into such a weird situation with how last offseason was handled, with the rookie camps being gone, how training camp looked. He's worth giving another shot, but I'm still not drafting him with where he's going, with the expectation of him getting better. I'd like to see him actually be on the field more and get better before I draft him.
Right. I just remember all the hype of him last year. I mean, the hype before
hype kills
started. It was crazy. It was really crazy. And then he just did nothing, do something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For that kind of hype, and I'm afraid we're all doing that right now, with Micah Parsons and these top few rookies. We got to be careful with this stuff, and like Gary always says, rookies are a luxury if you get points out of them.
Yep. Never, ever. It used to make me so mad when why would people think that they're, my starters are like last year, Murray, Patrick, and I'm like, you're kidding me. But it's gotten better. It's gotten better. Right. But I think if people are listening, maybe that percentage is low, folks. Stay away from those rookies. If you're looking for a starter, let these guys develop. That's even risky if you want to think that they're going to be death plate pieces. But, if you're not playing for money, what the hell, I guess, but either way.
And we're talking about big money league here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Let me ask one more question, and then we'll probably sign off if you guys are good with that.
Sure.
And again, Craig, I want to appreciate you jumping in last minute for Justin and stuff.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll be talking, and Roxanne will be in touch, and John, I look forward to next Wednesday night. And folks, if you would go check out our YouTube station channel, Fantasy Gridiron Ratings Fantasy Football, and subscribe, because as you can see across the ticker there, we're giving away our brand new draft guides, and they're really hot. So with that being said, I'm just going to move on. Now I'm going to throw you guys a little ringer in this one. So same format.
He wants us to get defensive, it seems.
2-2-2-2. So we've already filled our main 2 defensive tackles, or interior defensive linemen. All right. You've got, this is just standard size league. So these guys are still actually on the board, and you're looking for your first rotational or depth person. All right. Kevon Kinlaw, Derek Brown, or Linval Joseph.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, let me lead off here. Linval Joseph is old, right? He's been awesome as an IDP defensive tackle for years and years and years on the Vikings, not so much on the Chargers. He's old. We're gonna put him out to pasture. He's done. Derek Brown had a nice year last year, but he's a big fat guy. That's what he does. There's no sack upside. If you don't get the combined tackles, you're getting nothing. Kinlaw had some flashes, and I think could have that sack upside. So I'm going to go Kinlaw.
Great.
Yeah, I hate to not have an argumentative choice here, but I'm taking Kinlaw too. I was really high on him last year, and I got him late in a few drafts where we take that interior line position and use it. And I stashed him last year, and I'm ready to stash him with the other guys that I have this year too, if I need to. Yeah. I love his upside. I love that he has guys around him. Like with the other Nick Bosa is still there. Armstead, I think, is still there. I think it was Thomas left. So they have some veteran guys to lean on. Not really so much on the interior line, but at least at the defensive end. So it's not like he's going to be a focus and everyone's going to be just paying attention to him. So I like his upside, and I like the team that he's on.
Yeah, and I tried to do that. If there would have been in the same region on my rankings here, or where I'm looking off of, I would have probably thrown another young dude, but I got him surrounded by old dude. I could have put Chris Jones in there, John Simon, Campbell, Hicks, but that was the main focus was getting on these 2 second-year defensive tackles. And, I got Derek Brown in 20 and Kinlaw in 21. But, John bringing up the fact that it sounds like Brown is more of a run stopper, hole filler, and Kinlaw might have, splitting hairs. Maybe I should have had Kinlaw just above Brown. I'm expecting the Panthers to get better on the defensive line. I think that it's going to help. I think that Burns, third year, you got Yadagoss or whatever his name coming in for his second year. They've added Hassan Riddick, which is probably going to be maybe the strong side linebacker, but he's not going to leave the field, and he's going to be rushing. Yep. I think Brown could come up. Maybe he could waller his way in there and get a couple of sacks, possibly. But I do have to agree with you guys that on paper right now, I think that I would give that edge to Kinlaw. And that's actually, like I said, folks, I got them Brown, then Kinlaw. Those hairs at 20 and 21st are so thin. Yeah. That's anybody's. It's a flip of the quarter. I had to put them in there somewhere. This is the range that I chose. But, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think that might help. What's that?
So that was good hair split in there.
Yeah, and I think that's a scenario that there's going to be a lot of people that already have gone through that. They're like, okay, now I need that guy that's going to take that next step. I need this type of position filled for my first guy off the bench. And, what better way to do that with 2 upside players, that they maybe haven't broke out, but the potential is there that one of these guys could. So, and probably will be Kinlaw if he can get in there and get sacks. Right. I'm done asking the questions.
I'm done. It's Friday. We're at 52 minutes.
Yeah. You good, Craig?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, no problem. With that
Please
being
come back
said,
again.
Yeah,
Certainly.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm going to let Roxanne take us home.
Thank you for joining us today on Getting Defensive, sponsored by Gridiron Ratings. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. For every 25 subscribers we get now, we are giving away a free draft guide, and you don't want to miss out on that. I can tell you that it got released on Wednesday, and you can go to the Gridiron Ratings or Getting Defensive, I'd imagine, Twitters, and check it out if you haven't already. It's amazing, and it's a game changer. I think it's like the first of its kind, and people are going to be just blown away by it. I'm very excited for all of us.
It's pretty damn good, folks. It's pretty damn good. It's in depth.
So
they put a lot of work into it.
Have a good weekend.
Yep.
We will be back here Tuesday we do early shows because James.
Yep, 9 a.m.
9 a.m. And have a good weekend. Thank you for joining us, John and Craig.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, John.
Craig, you still there?
Yep.
All right. I'm just going to let this run another few seconds here, just so that they get this free shot on Twitter.